Woohoo! Alright guys, welcome to the first Michael Lynch Quickie. My idea with the Quickies is to sort of make it sort of jump cutty, sort of fast, have face cams in them, less video SAE, and more just me spitballing and talking about a game. I want to use these in between bigger videos to give myself more time to focus on a bigger game. So like right now, I am working hard on an Alan Wake 2 review that's going to be coming next Friday. I really wanted to have it out by this Friday, but the game is so dense and I have so many things to say, and I really want to give it the time it deserves. But I've also played through Mario Wonder. I just finished it yesterday, and I have some stuff to say. Not as much as I do for Alan Wake 2, granted, but I do still have some opinions about the game. So let's go! So Mario Wonder is the first new Mario game in a long time. Now, I mean, we had, when the Switch came out, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe or whatever, and that was nice. You know, it was good to play that again with slightly changed levels, some new stuff added, better graphics. Sure, it was cool, but I've been kind of sick of the New Super Mario Bros. Stuff for a while, man. The first one on the DS was peak. I loved that game. It's one of the first games I ever like really played and beat. That game was my childhood. I played that game so many times. I 100%ed it so many times. The mini games, it was all just so great. I also loved its counterpart on the Wii. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a very good game. It's a little hard, but that's kind of part of the fun. As a kid, it pissed me off, but now that I'm an adult and not a little baby, it's very fun. It's a very satisfying game, and I actually respect Nintendo for putting out a game that difficult, especially after New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, which was not that hard. And then after that, of course, we had New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS, which was okay. It was kind of the opposite of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where it was so much easier. Like, that game was silly, stupid, easy. I don't know. Apparently there were harder levels in the end game, but I didn't get into too much of that, so I can't speak to that. And then we had New Super Mario Bros. U, which followed in its Wii counterpart's footsteps and was just a little bit harder, and that launched on the Wii U as a launch title. That game was when it really started to get stale. Like, they weren't introducing that many new mechanics. I think that game added the ice balls of ice, the little, you know what I'm talking about. But it felt like Nintendo's level design and Nintendo's ideas when it came to 2D Mario were just kind of running out. It felt like this new Super Mario Bros. Thing had run its course. I was sick of Mario looking the same. I was sick of him moving the same. He was always really floaty in those games, which wasn't inherently bad, but it just got stale. I missed the stuff of Mario World and Mario 3, where Mario was a little bit tighter, a little bit more agile. And after that, Nintendo went radio silent on 2D Mario for a long time. They re-released the Wii U version for the Switch, which I talked about already. They did Super Mario 3D World, which is kind of 2D, but like not really, but it's in that style with like the world system and stuff. But there wasn't a true 2D Mario game for a long time. The last true release we had was New Super Luigi U, back in 2013, 2014, somewhere around then. And so platformer fans were kind of left in the dark for a while. That was until a Nintendo Direct this year where Nintendo announced Super Mario Wonder. They were so confident in people's excitement around a new 2D Mario game that wasn't in the New Super Mario Bros. Style that they literally didn't even show any gameplay. They just showed Mario becoming an elephant and the entire world lost their fucking mind. So I keep saying that Wonder is the first new 2D Mario game in a long time, but what does that mean? Because if you look at it just at a glance, it looks kind of like the New Super Mario games. But if you really take a closer look, you'll realize that the art style is new. The characters just feel less floaty. They just move tighter. They feel a little bit closer to that SNES Super Mario World vibe. There's new power-ups. The three big ones are the drill, the elephant, and the bubble Mario. And on top of all the new power-ups, there's a new kingdom. No longer are we in the Mushroom Kingdom. We're now in the Flower Kingdom. And we're not just trying to take down Bowser. We're trying to collect royal seeds. Basically, the royal seeds serve as the MacGuffin for this Mario game. You have to collect all 6 of them from a castle at the end of the world. You know 2D Mario. It's the same concept as always. It's just this time there's like an object you're chasing that you need to take on Bowser in his final world, his final castle. So yeah. There are 6 worlds in the game, and all of them are like connected through this thing called the Petal Isles, which serves as sort of a hub location. And I actually liked this because all of the worlds just kind of lead into the Petal Isles, and so you don't feel like you do in some other Mario games where it's just like, oh, I walked 2 feet and now there's sand everywhere, you know? And also the themes of these worlds are a little bit less stagnant, a little bit less stale. Like in recent 2D Mario games, like the New Super Mario Bros. Franchise, for instance, the worlds all have like a distinct style, and they stick very rigidly and closely to that style. There's always the ice world, the water world, the desert world, so on and so on. And essentially each of these worlds does not change themes. Like every level, unless it's like a boo house or a castle, every level is set to the theme of the world. Now, that's not the case in Mario Wonder. In Mario Wonder, sometimes you'll get a water level when you're in the desert world, or you'll be in a cloud world and you'll get a underground level, you know, like everything is very fresh. Nintendo doesn't sacrifice freshness just for continuity's sake. They're not afraid to put an underground level in a cloud world because they realize that no one really gives a fuck. No one cares. It's fine. We're not thinking that hard. It's a Mario game, dude. And while the worlds do feel fresh from a pacing standpoint because of the variety of levels, some of the worlds are just a bit repetitive for series veterans. Like, even though they're switching up the flow of it, you've seen all of these kinds of levels before. All the underground levels, all of the ice levels, all of the water levels. Like, you've seen these things before, you know, like they're not reinventing the wheel. It's still a 2D Mario game, you know what I mean? And that's a good thing. For people that want that, that's great. I would personally like to see a bit more variety in some of these levels. I'm a big Mega Man fan, and Mega Man finds a way to keep it fresh pretty frequently, at least the older games. And so I'm not saying I want Mario to be Mega Man. I'm just saying that I feel like Nintendo could do something, add some newer mechanics to these levels. However, speaking of new mechanics and levels, I will say this is the best Nintendo has ever done with that sort of thing. I mean, the level design in this game is really, really special. Each level feels like it has a mechanic that's satisfying enough that it could be applied to a whole world, you know? Like, every single level has a new mechanic that's fresh and cool. I just feel like tonally there's some stuff that could be done to make it feel newer. You know what I mean? Because the mechanic itself is new and is cool. It's just visually and thematically, it's all placed in a world you feel like you've visited before if you've played the recent new Super Mario Bros. Games. And that's not a knock, necessarily, because those games look great and people love those games. I'm just saying that it's not as much of a step forward as I would have liked. But I digress. Despite this, Nintendo does have a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of them. Like, every single level you play will be built around a fresh mechanic. I can almost guarantee that. And even if it's not, there's a whole badge system that essentially serves as like kind of like a RPG skill tree in a way, where the more badges you unlock, the more you can do. Now, you can only have one of these badges applied at a time, but for instance, one of them will let you bounce an extra time off a wall and give you a boost. Another one will let you jump super high in the air. Another one lets you use your hat as a parachute, right? All of these things add a lot of replayability to the game, because even if you've beaten a level, you can go back into it with a different badge on and see if you can find something new. You can try and find a new collectible, a new coin using your badges. So that's a cool mechanic, and it adds replayability to the game, which is important because the game is very short. I beat the game in like 8 hours, not the special levels. There's a whole special world at the end that I won't spoil. I won't show anything from it. I didn't beat all of those, but I beat the game, like got from level 1 all the way to the last castle in like 6 or 7 hours, which is not what you want to see from a $60 game. I'm not a length snob. I don't mind games being short, but when I'm paying $10 an hour for a game roughly, that just doesn't feel right when there's so many games out there this holiday season that you could be buying. However, there is a lot of replay value, and there is the special worlds like I talked about, so it's not all bad. It's not actually just 7 hours long. But if you're the type of person that doesn't care about completion and doesn't have much of an incentive to go back after you've played through a game once, maybe you should avoid this one or wait for it to go on sale. But it's a Nintendo game, so it probably never will go on sale. Each level also has something called a Wonder Seed, and you need a certain amount of these Wonder Seeds before you can unlock the final castle of the world. And these Wonder Seeds put like a spin on the level. They make the level do something that is just wacky, zany, and fucking weird, and it's cool every single time. It is the coolest thing 2D Mario has done since Super Mario World, and I love it. I want more of that. If they make a Super Mario Bros. Wonder 2, I want to see more of those, like a lot more of those, because the flower stuff is so cool. It just completely shifts levels. Sometimes it'll flip it upside down. Sometimes it'll turn it into like a Zelda-style dungeon. It really just depends on the level, and it's really cool every time. The Wonder Seeds also usually revolve around the core mechanic that you've been using the entire level. So, for instance, there's one level early on in the game, I think it's in World 1 actually, where you jump on these like hippo looking things and you can like bounce really high off their stomachs. And then when you get the Wonder Seed is attached to a giant one of the hippo things that is like star powered up, like looks like Mario does when he has the star power activated. And you have to like chase this thing around trying to get it. And it's so fun. And you're bouncing off of everything. You're bouncing off the walls. It's really cool. And it felt kind of like Nintendo was doing a victory lap a little bit. They knew that these mechanics were really inventive and fresh. Each mechanic they added into a level. And so the Wonder Seed were just like, let's just try and break it a little bit. Let's just let the player have some fun. And it's really cool. Sometimes it's really fucking hard. Like sometimes it gets really hard. Like the Wonder Seeds make a level much harder. But I liked that. As a longtime Mario player, I've been playing Mario my whole fucking life. I loved that. I think it's fun when Mario gets hard. That's why I like the Wii one so much and the Wii U one. On top of the Wonder Seeds, there's also new abilities. The only ability that transfers over from the new Super Mario Bros. Games, I think, is the flower. The Fire Flower. I think every other major ability is new. There's the elephant, which you saw in the Nintendo Direct, that basically lets Mario like hit through those brown blocks. It lets him attack enemies. It lets him spit water, fire. There's a ton of cool stuff they do with Elephant Mario, especially in the later half of the game. There's some really cool levels where if you have the elephant power up, it's so much easier and so much fun. There's also Drill Mario, which lets you like drill into the ground or into the ceiling. And also when you jump, your drill like pokes enemies above you. This ability is probably my favorite of the new ones. It's really cool. And there's a lot of clever puzzles that the game does with Wonder Seeds and with the 10 purple coins that really make the drill power up a lot of fun to use. It's very satisfying. When you solve one of these puzzles that's built around the drill power up, you feel very smart and it's very cool. The third new power up is Bubble Mario, and it's all right. Like, it's not bad. It's just, it feels kind of obvious and it's not as powerful as I would like. So basically it lets Mario shoot bubbles and the bubbles capture enemies and turn them into coins. You can also jump on the bubbles, which is cool, but there's not really any puzzles or challenges that require you to do this. And especially since there's the bounce off the wall badge, the Bubble Mario power-up feels kind of whatever. Oh, and something I forgot to mention about the worlds earlier is that they add a bit of Mario Odyssey's like Collectathon thing into this game, and it's really fun actually. So basically there's two currencies in the game. There's the regular coins where when you get 100, you get a new life, you know, just standard Mario stuff. But then there's also these purple coins, just like in Mario Odyssey, and the purple coins let you shop with vendors. Vendors sell new badges, they sell one-ups, they sell flower seeds, they sell everything. They sell so many things, and it's just a fun secondary progression loop. Like on top of just progressing through levels, you're also getting more powerful, you're doing stuff. It's just fun gameplay. The last thing I want to talk about before I close this thing out is a co-op. Now, the co-op in these 2D Mario games has always been really finicky, especially like when it started back on the Wii and the Wii U. It was very annoying. Like people, you could just pick up your friends, throw them around, and it would usually, at least with my friends, become a game of who could kill each other the fastest and in the funniest way. And that's fine, and that's a good time, but it gets kind of stale pretty fast. This game doesn't have as much of that. You can't just destroy your friends in the game, you know? You kind of are forced to work together. Like you can't just, you know, trap them in ice and throw them off, you know, like there's not the bullshit sort of element to it, which is nice. I played co-op with my roommates. I played co-op with my girlfriend, and all of them have very differing levels of video game knowledge. My roommate Harley loves video games, and he's been playing them for as long as I have. My roommate Nick doesn't like video games, but he really likes Mario, and my girlfriend has no experience with Mario at all. And all of them had a decent time and they were fine. Again, it's a lot of what you've come to expect from co-op in these games, but it's not really great and it's not really changed much, so just be wary if you're looking to play co-op. Overall, I think Mario Wonder is pretty good. I don't have any major problems with it. I think it's a perfectly fine Mario game, and I think if you're looking for 2D Mario, you're going to have a blast. I just wasn't really in the mood for it, and therefore I don't have too much to say. I think it's super well made. I really respect Nintendo for this game because there's a lot of really cool things that they do here, especially the mechanics that these levels are built around. I really love that, and I hope that becomes a core staple of this Wonder franchise going forward, and it will be a franchise. The Wonder Seeds are cool. The worlds are visually distinct. The platforming is good. The only knock I really have, like the only major knock, is that it doesn't really reinvent itself very much. Like, yes, they add new mechanics, but the core game itself kind of stays the same, which if you're a Mario fan and that's what you're looking for, you're going to have a blast, and I don't begrudge you for that. For me personally, I've been playing these games for a long time, and I would really like to see a little shake up to the formula, but Nintendo doesn't seem too keen on doing that, and that's fine. I realize that this game isn't necessarily for me, but I respect it for what it is. And when I look at the game on its own terms, I think it's a very fun time, and I think it's worth your money if you're the type of person that's going to replay it. Like I said, it is short, so if you're only going to play it once, I really can't recommend it. But if you're going to play through levels again, or if you want to play with friends, or anything like that, I think you'll have a blast. Overall, I think I'll give it a 3 out of 4. I think it's a really well-made game. I think it's really good. It's just not made for me, and that's fine. I think if you like Mario and you're looking for this, you should go buy it. I think you know. I think you know if you're the type of person that's going to enjoy this game, and I think you know if you're not. So if it sounds like you, if everything I've described sounds great to you, go buy it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Check the links below for the Discord and the YouTube membership stuff. Patreon down below, Twitter down below. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you for being here. Alan Wake 2 long-form video coming next Friday. See y'all then. Bye.